Welcome to Life and Legacy Talks, where we explore the stories, decisions, and defining moments that shape not just successful lives, but meaningful legacies. Today we're joined by Michael Claassens, a former Springboks scrum half who enjoyed a remarkable 16-year professional rugby career. Michael represented the Cheetahs, Cats, Bath, Toulon, and the Sharks, and also represented South Africa at under 21 level, SAA, the Springboks, and also the Barbarians. Along the way, he won the Currie Cup, the European Challenge Cup, as well as the French Top 14 and the Championship Cup. Today, he is a well known and highly respected financial planner. Michael, welcome. It's great to have you with us.
Thanks, Andre. Johnny, lekker to be here.
Yeah, no, Michael, we appreciate it. Andre, I just realized we are never going to be able to beat that intro.
Definitely not. Michael, are there any cups you haven't won?
No, I've actually, yes, Andre, for a long time actually. So when I started my career 2003 at the Cheetahs, I think 2005 and 6 we won the Currie Cup, and then went to Bath. We won the European Cup in the first season, and then actually for a long time didn't win anything.
Yeah.
And then I was lucky enough to go to Toulon where they had like incredible players. And yeah, because of that, obviously won a few trophies, and yeah, that's it. So there's guys that's won a lot more.
And through all of that, is there like one that stands out, like a moment? I mean, you had 100 caps at Bath, if I remember correctly. I mean, all these cups. Is there one moment that you think back's like that one I'll never forget? Even if it's a debut moment, I'm assuming that was also quite special for the Springboks.
Yeah, for sure. I suppose your debut was actually interesting. Like I came off the bench. We played against Wales, 2004. Was it 2004? I probably need to know that. So I played against Wales, but I came off the bench. There was actually no one left on the bench.
Sure.
And one of the wingers got injured, and I'm obviously a scrum half.
Yes.
I wasn't very fast. And they put me on wing, and the guy that I played against was Shane Williams.
Sure.
And I don't know if you guys remember him, but he could step and whatever, but it was only like 2 minutes, and I was just praying like, please don't give him the ball. Luckily he didn't get the ball, so that didn't stand out. But I think the moment that stood out for me was actually at Bath. Like we had a great time there, a few South African people there as well, and we won the European Cup in the first season, which was quite good for them because we arrived there the previous season, they struggled, and then a few Oaks came, they changed a few things, and we won that cup. So for the town, it actually meant quite a bit.
No, I can imagine. I mean, that was also in a time, it feels like that was at a time where it wasn't that big, the shift to play at foreign rugby leagues. That was a time where it just started out. So I'm assuming that was quite daunting to make that shift, to move over. I mean, especially for someone from the Free State like ourselves. We teased just before we started. I mean, there's a bunch of Afrikaans guys here trying our best with our English today. But I mean, that's probably quite daunting for you to make that shift over.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I was still young. I think I was 24 years old. So myself and my wife, I think we were married for 6 months and decided to give it a go. When I actually arrived there, so like you said, the English weren't that good. Still not that great. But
It's great now.
We're getting there, Andre. But then the first guy that I actually met there was a guy from Wales. I don't know if you've ever spoken to a guy from Wales with their Welsh accent. The guy were mumbling. I couldn't understand a word. I just said yes to everything. So you could have said anything else. So it was quite daunting as a young, but I mean, that's I think it's the best thing for any young guy to get you out of your comfortable environment and sort of get into a foreign environment and just sort of, take it from there.
Imagine that.
Yeah. Michael, for those who don't know your full story, tell us a bit about your upbringing. Where did you grow up, and how did rugby become such a major part of your life?
Yeah, so I grew up in the Free State, in Kroonstad. I don't know if you probably know about Kroonstad,
Definitely.
So grew up in a family, we were 5 kids growing up as well. So I had 2 older brothers, so we always played at home, we always played opener gates. But they were always the guys that wanted to tackle me, and then they wanted to run over me like Jonah Lomo. And I always thought, yes, but my 2 brothers are quite mean, like they're quite rough oaks. Until I went to watch them after school play rugby, and I was like, why? What happened to them? They don't tackle anymore. They don't. But anyway, yeah. So I grew up in the Free State, went to school in Kroonstad. As any Afrikaans young boy, I mean, rugby is the thing you play there. I was never, at a young age, I thought I wanted to be a Springbok. It wasn't really a thing, but I always had a rugby ball, always played with it. Played at school. My last few years actually went okay. Played Craven Week for the Griffins. And then I got a sort of a bursary at the Cheetahs to go and study there. So they paid for your accommodation in the hostel, and they would pay for your degree.
Okay.
And I think they gave us 4,000 rand per year.
Okay.
So you actually went to collect 3 paychecks of 1,333 rand. I remember that was the best thing. So myself and my girlfriend then, but my wife now, would drive on a little Corsa, and we'll go and collect the 1,333 rand, and then we go for a lekker dinner or something.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's how it started. Then I went
Yeah.
to go and study there, and then obviously got an opportunity from there.
No. Michael, you mentioned now your girlfriend who ultimately became your wife. Tell us a bit more about your family now. What do you do outside of the game, and then obviously outside of your day job?
Yeah, so I got married at 24. My wife, Helen Ann, we actually dated from school. Yeah,
Okay.
so I knew I had to get at a young age. And then we've got 5 beautiful kids. So the one is 12 years now. The twins, we've got twins that's 11 years, and then another set of twins that's 9. And then I'm a financial planner by trade now. So that's what I do. We live in Stellenbosch currently. Been there for just over 3.5 years.
A long rugby career versus raising 2 sets of twins. What was harder?
Definitely the 2 sets of twins at the start. We had
can
we had
imagine.
5 kids under 3 years and 3 months
Yes.
at
Yeah.
the stage, so it was quite rough at a stage.
Not a complete rugby team, but you can feel the strong 7 side. You're quite
Yeah.
close.
Michael, were there a specific moment in your life? You said you went to school in Kroonstad, in the heart of the Free State. Was there a specific moment in your life where you realized I can actually make a living out of rugby and doing this on a professional level?
Yeah, Andra, at school there wasn't actually a moment. Never thought about it. I went to study in Bloem, obviously. Played a bit of rugby there, and then I think in my 3rd year, so I was 20 years old, turning 21. I was in a Cheetah group, probably 3rd choice. They had the Powell brothers, Neil and Jimmy was 1st and 2nd, and they actually got injured, both of them actually in one game.
Yes.
And in the next game, I sort of got opportunity. I had a junior contract, not much then. And then that game actually had a decent game, and then they offered me a contract after that.
Oh,
So I suppose that was probably the moment where you thought like, okay, you can make a career. But I never, to be honest, I never thought too deep about it actually. I was like, okay, you play rugby, you get paid, I need to study, need to finish my degree.
no, you just enjoyed the rugby side of it.
And I'm
as well.
so glad that I did actually finish my degree back then.
And I'm assuming the degree was in the financial planning side of it.
Yeah, so it was an accounting degree, a normal BREC or what do we, normal accounting degree.
Okay.
And so in my 2nd year, so when I finished my 2nd year, I started playing for the Free State. So then you have 4 subjects in your 3rd year. So I divided like 2 the first 1 year and then 2 the next year.
Yeah.
And then in Bloemfontein, that's probably one of the only places you can do it as well.
Yeah.
They were actually, we had Tat Botha, and he always assisted us with writing exams and tests before you actually, so I would go into the tutor on a Saturday morning at 8 o'clock. The exam would only be at 11 o'clock, and I write in Jana, her name was Jana actually, and I would write in her office actually, exam on my own. And then 11 o'clock when they start writing, I would go to the stadium because at 1 o'clock we're playing for the Cheetahs again.
Just
This
unbelievable.
shows you
actually
how
very
obsessed the
helpful,
Free State
actually.
is with rugby, eh?
Yeah,
To allow that.
for sure.
Yeah, and what did the professional sector of sport teach you about life?
Yes, I think, there's a lot of things that I can take out of that. One of the things is it was quite easy actually, like in a sense when you play rugby, everything gets done for you, which is not great because they actually tell you what to eat, they tell you how to dress, they tell you what time to be everywhere, so you actually do nothing for yourself. Then on the other side again, it teaches you a lot about discipline, hard work, disappointment, grit, guts, like everything. So there's a lot of life lessons that you can learn out of it. But like I say, on the other side as well, there's a lot of easiness in it as well, that everything gets done for you.
Yeah. We spoke just before we started recording about the younger guys coming through, guys like Marcus Miller and Ethan Adams and Kai Pratt. What is your thoughts on guys that young being pulled into these environments? I mean, great for South African rugby, but on a personal level for guys like that, if you could go back in time, would you have done it any differently? Do you think there should be a bit of a life before rugby, after school?
Yeah, it's a difficult question because I mean every individual is different. So it depends on the values and principles of the individual as well. I don't think there's a problem with that. I mean, if you're good enough, you're old enough. The main thing for those guys is just to have a mentor or like a
Yeah.
dad or whoever just to guide them through that.
Yes, yes.
Because I mean, you get a lot of money or wealth and a lot of fame at a young age. So to handle that is quite difficult. I think I wasn't that famous, but I mean for the top oaks like a Brian and Bernard, those oaks, I think it's a difficult thing. And as long as they've got a mentor, someone that can guide them through that, then they'll be okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Michael, you touched on it now, and Johnny also. I mean, if we take rugby as an example, the young age at which the athletes become professional now. Marcus Miller playing his first game for the Stormers at, I mean,
18.
4 months ago he was still in matric. Now he's playing his first game for the Stormers at the professional level. I think South Africa's rugby is in a very healthy space. I mean, we're current world champions, so that's also great to add to that. But keeping or bearing that in mind, how difficult is it to stay grounded as a professional athlete? I mean, you do tend to become famous if you are a professional athlete, irrespective of the sport you're involved in. Is it difficult to stay grounded, especially for these athletes now coming through? They become professional at a very young age. I mean, if I take myself and I was still 18, your mindset is a bit different.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's probably difficult to stay grounded.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it is definitely difficult. I think when you can always refer back, but when we became professional at that age, we didn't earn that much money as the guys would be earning now. But yeah, but it's quite hard. I mean, you can imagine yourself 18 out of school getting whatever they get and then say like stay grounded. So like I said before, you definitely need someone to guide you through this and to help you actually. And then, I mean, in life, everyone is different as well, but there is a lot of people where you can just see there's different values and principles installed into them. So, I mean, if they had a good upbringing, the parents helped to sort of get that right and just guide them through that, then it would make it easier. But yeah, it's a difficult thing. I mean, because you can imagine like a guy like Marcus Miller now, he gets everything. I mean, wherever he goes, like everyone knows who he is. Young girls as well. Like it's a difficult thing. So for him to have someone that can guide him and assist him through this is very important. Most of them do have agents. So the agent would obviously do their contract. And I think those agents play a big part in it as well. So as long as the agent doesn't just worry about the money, but actually worry about the human being, then going forward, they will be better off.
I actually read a interview that I think it was SA Rugby magazine did with you a couple of years back. But if I understand, you also played a bit of a relationship management role when you just started shifting out of the rugby space into the professional space. But like you said, I mean, that is probably critical because that's one of your first point of calls on how to manage this world that you find yourself in, especially for these young guys.
Yeah, definitely, Johnny. I think so. I was with a company back then. Obviously, I was in the financial planning, and the guy asked me just to assist on the relationship side because obviously you went through the whole cycle as well. So it was easier for me out of experience to speak to the guys as well about how it works, what you should look out for, and then from a financial planning point of view, assist them with that as well.
Yes. But that's not a role you actively fulfill anymore per se.
I do in the financial planning. So because I mean, I can speak to the guys out of experience and tell them like, listen, you play rugby for 15, 16 years. After that, your salary just stops.
Yeah.
Like if you don't make provision, then this is what happened. And I actually went through the same. So obviously I had my career when I finished after rugby, I had 5 kids and a wife to look after. So your expenses stay the same, but you're earning totally different. So you have to make sure that you provide for that. So in that sense, I still play a role for all the players that I assist.
Michael, rugby can be incredibly rewarding, but also your career is relatively short. While you were playing, did you already think about life after rugby and what you are interested in doing then, or was it always your plan to go into the financial planning sector?
Yeah, Andre, that's so luckily, like I said earlier, I finished my degree at a young age, which helped a lot. But then for 16 years, you earned a decent salary and never really thought about life after rugby. You always think like, no, next year. And I think that's a habit or a trait that people fall into as well. You just think, no, it's going to keep on going until it's over. And like they always say, you don't know until you know. And then suddenly it's just over. and you realize. So to be totally honest, no, I didn't. Like looking back now, it's always easy to say. I would have educated myself a bit more, like do short courses, do an Excel course, do quite a few things like that as well, because we always had time. But then towards the end of my career, probably 2 years before I finished, I was like, listen, I need to start thinking about life after rugby then, because my whole situation changed as well, as I had a wife, 5 kids as well. So then I was like, I was looking to become a trader actually, like a commodity trader, because that's what my oldest brother did, and I actually did a bit of work experience. And then I just saw the hours didn't work because of all the kids. You only finish at 7 o'clock with that company, and then I spoke to one guy and he said, like, listen, I think you're good with people, maybe go into the financial planning. So I did the RE5, which is the exams, while I was still playing, and then sort of prepared myself for that.
And many people, especially professional athletes, they struggle with that transition from professional sport to life after that. And I think the main reason is probably your identity is to a certain extent tied to the sport and being famous. How was that transition like for you?
Yeah, exactly what you say. I think the main thing is the identity. I mean, you're the rugby player. Everyone just knows you as, if I use the same name again, Brian and Ben are the rugby players. They don't actually know who the actual person is. So a lot of people that struggle after rugby would be because of that. But for me personally, Andre, to be honest, like rugby never defined me. It wasn't the only thing I did. But it wasn't that easy. It wasn't straightforward. The reason being, I think, from a financial point of view. Luckily, I did make a bit of provision for life after rugby. But I mean, you suddenly go from earning whatever you earn to zero, and you have to build a business.
Yeah.
You still have your family to look after. So I think from that point of view, people always ask me afterwards, like, do you miss rugby? And I was like, I don't, but I miss the financial part of it. Because it was easy. You go to the gym, you train 3-4 times a week, and then you play a game on a Saturday and you get paid. It's actually, like I always say to the young guys as well, it's such an easy career actually. Obviously you need to be talented and work hard and everything, but I mean, you got a gift to actually do it and you get paid for it. So yeah, it wasn't that straightforward, but I mean, it's 8 years later now, and I'm actually very happy with where I am now and what I've actually done afterwards.
No, that's great to hear. Do you believe that professional athletes receive enough education around wealth preservation and long-term planning, especially as you're in that financial planning sector now? Do you think that they, whilst they're busy with their careers, they actually receive enough? You've mentioned previously that you need a mentor, obviously, but do you think in terms of financial advice and financial planning, do they receive enough education on that to plan for that properly for life after rugby?
I think they do actually now. They've got the My Players Association that looks after them, and I mean they offer them a pension fund, like a normal pension fund, but I mean at 35 they've got access to that. So if each of them are actually obliged to contribute 15% of their salary towards this, so at least after rugby there is something available. And then there's a lot of people that they'll send on there as well. They've actually got on their website financial advisors that you can actually contact for any financial advice as well. I think the main thing about the problem actually is that the guys don't actually take that responsibility to firstly listen when someone come and speak to them. Not everyone, but I mean a lot of people, and actually phone that guy and set up a meeting with them. So a lot of that responsibility goes towards the players, where they should actually step out of their comfort zone and sort it out. So they actually try hard to actually financially educate them, make sure they get the things in place from a young age. I think even now with my players, they've got their own financial advisor that they're getting in place now. There was a guy, Philip van der Walt, who played number 8. He's coming back from overseas now, so he's going to be the financial advisor there. So there is a person inside that structure that they can actually reach out to.
And if those players actually end up giving you a call, what is your go-to to advise these young guys on, or not even young guys, guys that are in the middle of their professional careers? What is your go-tos like this? You really need to focus on this from a financial planning perspective. What is your go-to?
Johnny, I always got this picture that I draw, and the picture would be at 35, where do you want to be at 35? Because I mean, for you guys it's different. Where do you want to be at 55 or 60? And the go-to is obviously to get their structures in place, if they buy property, whatever, to make sure you've got the right structures for that. And then the second one would be to obviously get cash flow for after rugby. Because I mean, when you finish at 35, you need to start building a business. So make sure that you save enough towards that, and then buy the right property as well, not just any property. So when you finish with rugby, you've got some money to actually live off,
Yeah.
and you don't actually need to access your pension. You can actually take that to 55. So then you just need to make sure that you've got enough cash flow from 35 to 55, because that pension will grow from 35 to 55, and then that would take care of retirement.
I can imagine it's tough conversations. I mean, you're talking about structures to guys that probably
That's
never
the
dealt
last
with a
thing we think
trust
about.
or
Yeah.
companies
Yeah,
or
yeah.
anything like that. So what a job to have
Yeah.
actually.
I think the main thing with that, with the structures, is just to show them. I mean, if you buy property in a company, just the tax saving
Yeah.
that you actually do have there, and then if you get the trust to be, for instance, a shareholder, just
Yeah.
on the estate duty, when you can actually, I think that's the main thing, and to do it correct from the start.
Yeah, and a lot of these guys have started family lives as well. So I mean, succession planning becomes an important part of it. You know, it's probably the last thing on your mind when you sit there playing your professional rugby career, but it's such
Yeah,
an important part for the longer term.
For sure. I think in our industry, like, trust is very important. I
Yeah.
mean, I've got a few players. If I ask the guy, not all of them, but if I ask the guy, like, if I tell him to do an investment and I send him my bank details, he'll actually pay the money in there as well. So it's sometimes, not always, but I mean, if the guy trusts you and you've got a reputation and everything, for them to actually trust what you're doing and to follow that will make it easier for them.
No, I can imagine.
Yeah, I think trust is critical for any advisor, irrespective of which sector you're advising. If you don't have that trust, obviously building the relationship with the client is difficult, if you manage to build a relationship with the client at all.
Yeah.
Michael, but you said now that obviously there is people out there who assist the players, but we still find that there's a lot of them who overlook proper planning.
Yeah, definitely.
Irrespective of the fact that there is specific routes they can follow for assistance. Why do you think that? Because we often hear the players, they earn millions during their careers, and then ultimately they end up financially vulnerable.
Yeah, the different reasons for that, Andre. I think part of the reason is they just enjoy what they're doing currently, and they don't think about life after rugby or about proper planning. So they actually don't take the responsibility to have that conversation. And like you said, there's a lot of players that would actually realize it too late.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got two guys that I assist that's probably the same age now, and the one guy, I mean, what he would have investments under management is actually ridiculous, and the other guy wouldn't have a cent, and they probably earned in their 10-year career the same amounts, because the one guy just bought in from the start, and he was like, listen, I need to plan for after rugby, this is how it works, where the other guy was just like, no man, I'm gonna play, I'll see what happens. So I think a lot of times they are overlooked. Maybe they don't have someone that tells them, like, listen, sort it out, make sure, someone that actually mentors them, that they trust, to get that stuff in place.
For interest's sake, I've always wondered about this, but especially any professional sport, but the bigger professional rugby players, how much of the wealth is actually linked to the actual game fee and the team you're with versus endorsements and the other side of it?
Yeah, good question. So it depends on each player. Like, I mean, you can imagine a guy like Sasha now, endorsements will be massive. He's very marketable. But overall, I would say, so now they've got with SA Rugby, they've got the pony money, so player of national interest. So whoever South African rugby think's got a chance to play for the Boks, they will give the union a certain amount for that. And then the union will contract this player using that money as well. So I would say probably, like, only the commercial rights that you're talking about, only probably about, I would say, 10%, not even that much, of players that the union will get commercial rights. And that would probably be like, maybe, if it's not a guy like Sasha, a normal guy, probably like 20% of their total funds that they receive.
No, so it's still a big chunk, but I mean,
Still a
it's
big
not.
chunk. So I
it's
mean,
not
that
as
part you can
important,
use as into a company, the commercial part, but their salary is a straightforward salary, PAYE. There's nothing that you can do structure.
Yeah, to protect that.
Yeah.
A lot of the youngsters, we also see daily when we assist clients. They have this mindset that financial planning and estate planning is either for the ultra wealthy or it's something you do later in life. I think it's better to do it earlier, but why do you think this mindset is so dangerous, thinking that it's only for the high net worth and it's only something I can do later in my life?
Yeah, it's very dangerous, Andre. I mean, you guys work with it daily, and you see how difficult it is for a client at the later stage to change things. From a tax point of view, you've lost out already. From a cost point of view, there's a lot of cost to incur to actually get the structures correctly as well. So it's very dangerous. But I think the main reason they don't do it is people don't understand it. They don't really know. I mean, I probably only realized what estate planning was at 35, 36. So that's the main reason they don't do it, but it's very dangerous. The sooner you get it in place, the better off yourself and your family will be going forward.
The sad thing is, it is a bit of an uncomfortable conversation as well. I mean, like you said, relationship and trust is so integral to this profession in general. Financial planning or estate planning, it's the same ball game when it comes to that. It is ultimately client needs to feel comfortable telling you exactly long-term goals, family dynamics, all of that. And if they're not comfortable to break the ice, then. But I mean, so much of our profession involves solving an issue when it already exists. We've spoken about this. I mean, this platform that we now have, these podcasts. If that is a mindset that we can change, and one or two individuals out there should just feel comfortable to go and have the conversation. It doesn't really matter whether it's estate or financial planning. Just go have the conversation.
Yeah, definitely.
Then I think we're off to a good start.
Yeah, for sure. And like you say, it's an uncomfortable conversation to have, but you actually have it once, and if you get it in place from the start, then it's easy going forward.
Exactly.
Because then it's in place already. You don't have to, you evolve and you change as needed, but I mean, you just have to get the structures from a young age in place, and it just makes it easier.
I also think why some of the people tend to ignore planning until a later age is probably a bit intimidating as well.
Yeah.
And as you said, it's not the most comfortable conversation to always have because you're dealing with, it's your personal stuff, and we usually just tend to set that aside. We're more than willing to assist others with their personal stuff, but it's always that when it's mine, I'll do it later in life, and I think that's dangerous because you need to plan now. The sooner you start, the better. How much of your clients actually come to you and already accumulated various assets but have no structures in place? I assume it's quite a lot of them.
Yeah, quite a lot of them, and then it's almost too late, unfortunately. But I think, like you say, a lot of people, it's a scary thing for them, especially people that's a bit more financially educated. They always like, if you want to do a FNA, or we've got a nice tool that we use, Asset Map. I don't know if you've heard about it. Where you can put someone's assets in and everything, and it can actually show you if you by loss of life or retirement where you are currently. So it shows you what you've got, what you need, and obviously what's needed from you. And I mean, there was the other day that told me, like, I don't want to do that stuff. It scares me every single time. Which is understandable, but I mean, it's better to know and not wonder when you're 65 or 70 be in that position.
That's going to be a problem. You might as well address it.
For sure. Yeah.
We usually, we assist clients with building a legacy, but ultimately also how that is then transferred to future generations. But you do tend sometimes to find individuals where they mostly focused on themselves in the planning. How important is it to think beyond yourself when you're planning? Obviously, you need to think. It's critical. It's a critical part of your planning to think about your family, the legacy you want to leave behind, and ultimately, if something should happen to you tomorrow, that there's enough provision made financially, at least, for your family to go on. How important is that mindset to not only focus on yourself when doing the planning, but also to look further than that to the rest of your family, your children, your wife?
Yeah, like you say, Andre, it's critical. I mean, I had a guy the other day that said no, but when he passes away, he's not there anymore, so he doesn't. But he was joking, obviously. But I think it's critical. Like, I mean, to be tax efficient, to be able to transfer your assets smoothly over to them as well, and to put them financially in the best position that they can be. Because I mean, they're dealing with emotional loss already, like losing a father or a dad or whatever, and now, I mean, if you put them in a financial difficult position as well, it just makes everything so much harder. So if you can actually make sure future planning is set up correctly, that will actually when you pass away and they deal with the emotional loss, it won't give them the other financial problem as well. It will definitely make it more smoothly and easier going forward, and they will remember you for that. Unfortunately, if it's the other way around, they will remember, listen, my dad passed away, but he left us in this difficult position, and if you left them in a good position, they'll always be thankful for that as well.
It's a good point you're making. And people often focus on creating wealth, but not necessarily on preserving it. How important is integrational planning in today's financial and estate planning environment? I mean, it's no longer that you can just work with your attorney, for example, and he do your will, and that's your estate plan. You need, as part of your estate plan, you need a will that suits your family dynamics. If you do have structures in place, you need to plan accordingly for them as well. And in addition to that, you need your financial advisor. And it's not possible for one person to be an expert in all of those areas. How important do you feel collaboration and integration are between advisors?
No, it's essential. You can't go without it. Like, I mean, I'm a financial planner, but I work with you guys on the structure side, on the will side, on everything, because I can't. I mean, you know enough, but you can't do it yourself. It's definitely impossible. And then we've got a tax lady that we deal with as well. So I think by integration is the best thing you can do as a planner, and I think you'll be much more successful by doing that as well, instead of trying to do everything yourself. It's actually impossible, like you say. I mean, you guys are experts in what you do. Hopefully we are experts in what we do, and in the tax people as well. So you'll just give better advice to your clients. They'll be more tax efficient.
Exactly.
There'll be better transfers of their assets if anything should happen, and financially they'll be in a much better position one day than they would have been.
And I think in our profession in general, we understand we are not experts in financial planning. The same with you. You understand where your limitations lie. And I think some advisors find themselves guilty of not admitting that to themselves, which ultimately has a knock-on effect. I mean, we want these guys to come and knock and ask and have the discussion like we just said.
Yeah.
It's sad that sometimes it's knocked on the wrong door that tries and do all of this. And ultimately the advice doesn't come through. And it's also a reality of the field that we're working in. There are people willing to have the discussion, but they just don't get pushed in the correct direction ultimately.
No.
For sure.
So you do really need a team around the table. I mean, financial planning, estate planning, the tax and accounting side of it, especially with trusts. It's such an integral part to get all of that together.
Yeah.
One lacking and the entire thing falls apart.
Definitely. It's impossible actually to do everything on your own, to be honest. I mean, I feel so much comfortable when I phone Andre and I'm like, hey, Andre, quickly help me with this. And I can actually speak to the clients as well.
Yes.
And for the clients to know as well, there's actually a team behind them, not just one person.
Yes.
I think that's very important as well, to know that, like, listen, there's a lawyer that's looking at this, and I've got an accountant looking at this, and I'm getting the best planning actually.
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to say now. It also gives me, as the estate planner, that peace of mind when you know that the estate planning aspect, you do that with the financial advisor, but he obviously advise on the financial planning side of it.
Yeah.
And it gives you that peace of mind, because I'm not versed to give financial advice. And it helps you also to give the most effective plan for the client, because you can ultimately
definitely.
ensure that his estate plan and his financial plan is in alignment. And I think that gives you a lot of peace of mind if you are the whether it's the financial advisor or assisting from the estate planning side. It gives you a lot of peace of mind if you know that those things talk to each other. And
Definitely.
there won't be conflicting
Yes.
arrangements should something happen to the client. And that's what you tend to find if your financial planner and someone who assists you with your will and so forth is not in alignment, or they don't know what's going on in your things. I think that's great if you have that sharing of information almost, and building a plan together.
Yeah. Whatever those clients, can you say, point of trust is. So if the client is actually with me,
Yes.
they trust me because I'm a financial planner, then it's very important for me to know the structure people that you work with, and the tax people personally as well, because you trust them. So I mean, you can't just outsource it, but you don't actually know the people. And that's where trust comes in again, because I mean, any structure that you guys are going to do for those clients, it's ultimately coming back to me.
Yeah.
So it's very important for people to work together as well, and then trust the people that you work with.
Yeah, I think trust will always be a major part in our careers, but it's actually great if you know that the client built that trust in you, it's I don't know, it's a great feeling for me personally.
Yeah,
No,
100%.
that's true.
Yeah. What advice would you give to a young professional who just signed his first major contract? Let's take it, for example, someone like a Marcus Miller or
Come and
Ethan
speak to me.
Adams.
Hi, Ferrari.
Here's my number.
No, I would. What advice would I give to a guy like that? I would probably tell him to enjoy it. I mean, it's a privilege what he's gonna earn and what he's doing. Not just, I mean, a lot of people would just say save everything, but have some enjoyment as well. But at the same time, start looking at life after rugby at the young age. Get someone that can advise you correctly. Make sure you get the right structures in place, the right plan for after rugby at 35, and then focus actually on your rugby, because the better rugby you play, the more money you're going to earn.
Yeah.
Where a lot of guys would actually play rugby and they think about business ideas and someone is going to make money for them. In the end, they end up losing money. So focus on the thing that actually makes money for you, that after rugby you can be in the best financial position that you can be.
That's great.
Beyond the finances, what's your definition of a meaningful legacy?
Meaningful legacy, probably personally, probably like one day being remembered for being a great husband, a good dad or a great dad as well. And then I suppose the impact you left on your clients from a financial point of view, like the financial education you gave them, the qualities and values you installed into them, and ultimately putting their family in a better position because of the impact you had on them.
Yeah, and that's the legacy you would ultimately leave behind as Michael Claassens.
I hope so, yeah.
Oh, well, Michael, I can attest to that. It's always nice to hear you speak about your family and everyone. And when we sit with clients, the advice you give, it's always incredible to listen to that. So yeah, it's a privilege to have you here. Thanks for making the time to be here. We really appreciate it. We know you're quite busy. Yeah, it's an absolute honor to be here and to be able to work with you. So thanks for taking that time.
Thanks, Andre. Thanks, Johnny. Yeah, like to work with you guys as well. I must say, like, whenever Johnny, obviously I speak more to Andre, I'm sure you the same as well. But whenever I ask you anything, you always get back and I actually learn a lot from you guys as well.
Thanks, Michael. We appreciate it.